You have no idea how much I've been delaying writing the script for this video just because I have to critique
the one group that has still managed to keep me in K-pop.
So basically, Mnet just expects us to be like fluent native Korean speakers because adding subtitles is just pain in their ass apparently.
So, a basic recap of episode 2.
TNX and Tempest were in a match.
Both of them performed 2 different skit songs.
TNX 1.
Younite and 8 Turn were in a match.
Both of them performed 2 different hyphen songs.
Younite 1.
Now, episode 3, where the remaining 3 groups will be performing 3 different songs from 3 different groups.
And these groups are the million seller
boy groups of the year 2020.
I hope I explained that better than Mnet
because having to understand graphics
without subtitles while it runs at the speed of who gives a fuck is really something. So now on to the performances. Overall, it was a good performance. So there was stage presence and there was good energy also coming from them, and we got the return of the Hexagon Soho, who was belting out high notes while also he was doing the Taeyong's rap voice while also tumbling. God really had her favorites, huh? But there were 3 bummers for me in Oneus' performance. There was concept, no doubt. The Kingsman concept was there, but again it lacked a story, and it wouldn't have made much of a difference had not Younite performed before them and Cravity performed after them. The standard had been set, and unfortunately, because of that, Oneus did lose a few points in my book. Second was more of a technicality where I felt like Lido and Sion's mics were a little too close to their mouth, where you could hear every puff of air. It would be basically if I took this mic right here, do not judge the sock, I don't have professional equipment except for this mic, and start doing. While doing this bit, I realized that I have to hold my mic up here to get good quality. So I'm sorry for the past 3 videos. I learned my lesson while trying to prove a point that the quality is bad if I do that. Why am I complaining? It just proved that they were singing live. I don't know what's the point of this. And lastly, personally, I felt was harmonization. Maybe because NCT Litchi has like more members, so their chorus felt a little more full, whereas Oneus has a few members comparatively. And because of that, their individual voices were being heard. Because of that, I felt like the chorus was losing a little bit of energy. But the last chorus, that made me realize that I really want to see Oneus IRL, although they'll never come to my country, because there are certain groups you can only appreciate how good of a performer they are seeing them IRL on stage in a concert. And definitely Oneus, I feel, is one of them. Another group is Blitzers, the only other boy group a concert that I have ever gone to. As opposed to my sister's opinion, who watches this video, they did really well. They did much better compared to the first performance. They definitely got to show both their performance abilities and their vocal abilities a lot better. Especially the vocals of Munyo and Bain really stood out for me. But even then, the thing that is the problem is that the crewone stages lack a certain amount of creativity, which even Juyeon, he addresses it in the episode where he explains it to them that after a stage, one is supposed to be left feeling goosebumps, which the stages of Younite and Cravity did for me. And it should not just be a simple, oh, they did good thing. While I was watching the live stream, that's literally what I thought. I'm like, oh, they did good. But that's all I could take back from it. Like, there was no particular scene that I'm just like, oh, wow, this is what I want to take back. Like for Younite, it was the silhouette play. Those little things make the performance memorable, which the crewone was unfortunately again not able to do. Theatrics should be added because that's what makes it interesting. For example, in the beginning itself, where Jimin is biting Songhwan, it could have been so simple. The theatrics of blood, they just have to keep a packet of blood and you have to bite down on it and it will come out. The simple theatrics like these make a difference. But aside from the fact that that scene itself confused me a little. First I thought, okay, they're going with the vampire concept, but it didn't carry on throughout the entire stage. So that was just another gimmick. As for the concept, right, I think that might be the reason why the stages are not able to be the best of their abilities. Because I feel the concept, at least what their stage directors or creative directors are putting forward, is the creation of the crewone for RTK. But that's all it is. Yes, it is an overarching story for the entirety of their Road to Kingdom presence because they were created for Road to Kingdom. But the reason why it's not working till now is because they don't go into details. It is just, we have been created for this. We as humans are created and we are trying to understand our life. So each stage should have been stage of life. But that is is not being done. The only thing that's connecting them is that hourglass, which again is just a prop. It's not being entwined. It's just being put in the end. I'm really trying to put my 3 years worth of film school to use while analyzing this performance to make sure to double check that maybe I am not getting it because hey, different perspectives, different upbringings. We all are born different. I checked even this video by Ruru's Diary. They did do well. It's not that they didn't do well for this performance, but their stages are very subdued compared to the other kingdom stages. As for the ace, giving him the white costume, it did work. He did stand out, but giving him a solo stage is not enough to prove that he is your ace. He must be memorable. He must have importance in the stage, which was unfortunately not happening. And as much as I understand giving each member ample amount of screen time, but it should not compromise the ace, which you have chosen to put forward for this performance. Because in the end, this Kingdom series is the ace of ace. I really do appreciate this performance from Cravity. It's because it puts forward that you do not need an intrinsic storyline to put a performance. We are taught this in film school, that your audience is not dumb. They can put 2 and 2 together. This is what Cravity did for us. They perfectly blended their expressions with their concept, and because of that, we as the audience were immediately able to understand through the sultry singing and tempting touches that the concept is temptation. And with one great ending, I literally got goosebumps. Every time I remember it, I get goosebumps. This is what Juyeon was talking about, and I completely agree. With one great ending, they managed to not only get the concept, but also a story. The story doesn't need to be this extensively thought out storyline. They let the audience understand that hyeongjun was making the deal with the devil, but it was not just Taeyong. It was all the devils creating that temptation through the individual imagery of Taeyong as the devil. And the way they positioned themselves, it was so fucking great. Like, you can get obviously the danger side of it, but also the temptation of, inching closer. This is what I was talking about, that seamless blend of expressions and concept. You can make out, the devil temptation in the way they're positioned as a group upon that table while keeping it light but also hungry to get hyeongjun as a sacrifice? I don't know. I just fucking love how they're standing. But moving on. Vocals good. Performance good. Ace good. But I felt that Taeyong looked more like the ace. In terms of concept also, I feel like he should have been made the ace. But Hyeongjun also did a pretty good job. Shout out to Songmin. The playing with danger movements that he does, I really did like it, and my attention immediately went to him. They also had various segments. Like, for example, the silhouette tutting the hand choreography segment. It was not as smooth as younite's, but it was still overall really good. It was really great to see, and in general, from these 3, they definitely deserve that win, which again they did. Now, the winners of each match was TNX, Younite, and Cravity. Although it was a one-team performance, you would still be ranked both on team and ace, because in the end there was an ace. So both of the categories were being ranked. 30% of the votes for self-evaluation. Self-evaluation as in the groups themselves, and 70% was from a live audience of 300. The winning teams also had an additional bonus of 1000 points. So all maths and Wikipedia notes aside, Cravity won the team performance ranking and Oneus won the ace performance ranking. The way Road to Kingdom functioned for this episode, every episode I have to explain what the fuck. If one group won both the team and the ace, they would get to decide the cue sheet for the next episode. But because in this episode Cravity won the team and Oneus won the aces of that round, which were Hwanwoong and Hyeongjun, they would battle it out on a one-on-one performance, and the winning ace and his team would get to decide the cue sheet for the next episode. I was genuinely confused because there were no subs, so I was just like, okay, we're doing this now. So I'm going to be brief with the ace performances. He was sharp in his movements. He hit every beat. He kept in theme with the team performance which was there before of Temptation and Devil, where his movements looked irregular in a way. It was in control, and in that themes of he looked like he was possessed by the devil, because in the end he did make the deal with the devil. Hwanwoong's performance is an art piece. It is highly open to interpretation. So my interpretation is basically, the first part was a beautiful, elegant performance, and if you could see, it was with a flower. And that flower, he cherished it. He was pure in the first part. But immediately after that elegant move, he crushes the flower into that sand pit, showing sacrifice. He killed I think he killed the thing that he loved the most after of our consequences and not the before. And this is what side of he was trying to portray, that
as
the dark side of that person is the one that is currently active. Yay, me and my 3 years of film school. For this, the voting was done with pure self-evaluation and gets with Sopa Topper 1 with a great ratio of 24:6. Although hyeongjun also did a good job. I really enjoyed both. Now, my controversial opinion for this episode is, I feel personally the groups are not able to fully encapsulate the meaning of the ace concept. In many of the performances, I've noted that they are given solo stages and after that they are just plain forgotten. This should not be happening. The ace is your PowerPoint, right? You have chosen him, right? Then you should show him off, in my opinion. Show us why you have chosen him. Okay, I'm biased here, right? But you can see why hwanwoong was chosen. You can see why Yoonsang was also chosen. It should be like that. As to, oh, I understand why this ace was chosen. So now the next episode, the main mission concept is identity. So basically they have to perform one of their hit songs. I'm not crying because one shows no dignity, and I made an entire video about me speculating with songs they should or would perform, and I have been completely wrong about it.
Oneus is also known for Luna, as in it's their traditional concept.
That will be all from me. Ciao.